about. Cleveland's playing with so much more of it this season. Mitchell connects. Oh, big minutes. Garland a three. You bet.
When the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to part ways with JB Bickertsaff and hire Kenny Atkinson, at the time, nobody really thought much of the move. We all knew it needed to happen. JB's time was up. But I don't think anybody on this entire planet expected Atkinson to have the guys playing so well early on. It's not even about that they are winning. They are dominating every aspect of the game. And the 7-footer in Evan Mobley finally looks to have developed into the player everyone thought he could be. He finally has an aggressive mindset, and when he's on the court with Jarrett Allen, the defense is something special. The Orlando Magic literally had 16 points in the first quarter. So the Cavs have really been on a tear, and I want to talk all about it. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's kick things off with the latest game against the Orlando Magic. It was a dominant 120-109 victory. Now, you might be thinking, it's just the Magic. They're a good team, they made it to the playoffs last year, but Paolo Banchero was hurt and this roster is super young. So what's the big deal? But hold up, because the Magic are a gritty team. There's a reason they got so many wins last season. They just have a lot of young talent up and down the roster. So even though the Cavs were supposed to win this game, you still ultimately have to go out there and handle business. And that's exactly what this team did right from the jump. And you knew the Magic were out for revenge after the way things ended in Game 7 last season. So first things first, let's talk about the dynamic duo that's been lighting up the stat sheet like it's the 4th of July. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell combined for a very solid 47 points in the win against Orlando, with Garland leading the charge at 25 points and Mitchell not far behind with 22, with limited minutes due to the score. These two are proving that they're not just coexisting, they're finally starting to thrive together, which will be a backcourt nightmare for opponents all season if they can keep it up. But here's where it gets really interesting, because even with Bickertsaff, the last few seasons, the Cavs for the most part got off to some pretty hot starts. But the Cavs aren't just winning right now, they're dominating from the jump. Their first quarter efficiency has been off the charts, setting the tone early and putting teams on their heels before they can even break a sweat. It's like watching a prize fighter land a knockout punch in the first round. Brutal, efficient, and highly entertaining. Now, let's talk about the mastermind behind this transformation, first-year head coach Kenny Atkinson. This guy has come in and completely revolutionized the Cavs' approach to the game. Remember the days of slow, plodding offense and predictable plays? Yeah, those are gone. Atkinson has these guys playing with a freedom and aggression that's a little reminiscent of the Golden State Warriors in their prime. Maybe I shouldn't go there yet, it might be a bit too early, but he was a part of that staff, so he knows how it's done. Take the Magic game for example. With a back-to-back against the Milwaukee Bucks looming, Atkinson made the savvy decision to limit his starters to around 25 minutes each. That's the kind of big picture thinking that separates good coaches from great ones. It's not just about winning the game in front of you, it's about positioning your team for long-term success. And let's break down some numbers, because in today's NBA, stats are king. The Cavs are currently boasting the 2nd highest point differential in the league, they're 3rd in points per game, 1st in field goal percentage, and 2nd in 3-point accuracy. On the defensive end, they're 4th in scoring defense and 5th in field goal defense. These aren't just good numbers, they're the stats of a championship caliber team. But it's not all about the starters. The Cavs bench has been absolutely lights out. In their season opener against the Toronto Raptors, the Cleveland Reserves scored a combined 64 points on an insane 71.4 shooting percentage. This marked the first time in franchise history that the Cavs bench scored at least 60 points on 70% or better shooting in a game. That's not just good, that's historically good. And speaking of the bench, let's give some love to Caris LeVert, who's been playing like a man possessed. Against the Raptors, he dropped 19 points on 8 for 9 shooting, including a perfect 2 for 2 from downtown. And then there's Ty Jerome, who's become the spark plug that this team needed, scoring 14 points on 6 for 7 shooting in just 18 minutes against Toronto. And that stat line is just about what he's been over the first week of this season. And don't forget about Georges Niang, who's been hitting big threes and providing that physical presence off the bench. That's what I love about him the most this year. He's not playing soft, he has been an enforcer. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's only 6 games. Can they keep this up? Well, let me tell you why this isn't just a flash in the pan. This team has bought into Atkinson's system. They're playing at a faster pace, shooting more threes, and most importantly, they're having fun while doing it. And that brings me to the guy that is really starting to break out that everyone is so excited about. Let's talk about Evan Mobley for a second. This guy is on the verge of a breakout season that could propel him into superstar status. He's been noticeably more aggressive on both ends of the court, and his improved offensive game is making him a true two-way threat. And paired with Jarrett Allen, they form a defensive wall in the paint that's giving opposing guards nightmares. But it's not just about the X's and O's. The chemistry on this team is palpable. The offseason contract extensions for Mobley, Allen, and Mitchell have eliminated any potential distractions, allowing these guys to focus solely on basketball, and boy, does it show on the court. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the ghost of the past few seasons. We all remember the frustrations with former coach JB Bickertsaff, the rigid offensive sets, the questionable rotations, the lack of adaptability. It's like night and day comparing that to what we're seeing under Atkinson. This team is playing with a freedom and joy that's infectious, and it's translating to wins. But hey, don't just take my word for it, because just from doing some social media scrolling and looking around online, there's been people saying things like, I haven't been this excited about Cavs basketball since LeBron was here. This team feels special, and so many other things along those lines. And in terms of Kenny Atkinson, I heard another fan say, he's completely changed the vibe. The team looks more relaxed, more confident, it's like they're playing without fear. And what about the core four of Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen? The consensus is clear. These guys are the real deal. They're not just coexisting, they're elevating each other's game. It's beautiful to watch, and the crazy thing is that it really is not all sunshine and rainbows. There are still areas where the Cavs can improve. They're currently 25th in the league in total rebounds per game, which could become an issue against bigger teams. And while the offense has been stellar, there's always room for improvement in terms of ball security. Looking ahead, the Cavs have a tough test coming up against the Milwaukee Bucks. It's games like these that will really show us what this team is made of. Can they maintain this level of play against the elite teams in the league? If their early season form is any indication, the answer is a resounding yes. So, what's the ceiling for this Cavs team? Is it too early to start thinking about championship contention? Maybe. But one thing's for sure, this isn't the same old Cavaliers. This is a team that's playing with purpose, with joy, and with a chip on their shoulder. They're out to prove that they belong in the conversation with the NBA's elite. And so far, they're making one hell of an argument. As I wrap up, one thing I really want to mention is the importance of health. The team has already lost Max Strus to injury, and staying healthy will be crucial for maintaining this level of play throughout the grueling 82-game season. But if they can keep their core players on the court, the sky's the limit for this squad. Here's what some of the media, players, and coaching staff have had to say about this hot start.
We was getting stops on the defensive side. Just trying to make it tough on them. Trying to make them take some contested tough twos in the paint against our bigs and contested threes. And after that, we're just trying to get out in transition and run.
Well, I think the first thing for me is Evan Mobley. Like, the ball is going to him. They're making sure he touches the ball. And like we just talked about in the break, we know Donovan Mitchell and Garland, they're going to get their shots. They're bona fide scorers. But with Evan Mobley, sometimes you got to force him to be uncomfortable for the ball and be in his hands. And now you see him grabbing the ball off the rim, bringing it up, coast to coast, being a facilitator, where last year you didn't see that. Yeah. And in the playoffs, when Garland and Mitchell, the hot hands cold, who was that third guy? They never had that guy. And last one for me, GA, now you're getting Karis LeVert involved. If he can stay healthy, he's the wild card guy that any given night can carry you offensively.
And they're so physical. Suggs is so physical. It's hard to move out there, and the game was a bit of a slog. We fouled a lot, so that slowed the game down a little. But I was really happy. Isaac Okoro came in, and we needed his physicality. Made a couple big threes, and he had that downhill drive when we were struggling. So really good to see that. Karis again. He's in a state of grace right now. He's just playing great. So and it's good. We got a back-to-back. We kept our minutes, decent, and for the Milwaukee game.
In conclusion, the Cleveland Cavaliers 6-0 start is no fluke. This is a team that's firing on all cylinders, from the starters to the bench, from the offense to the defense. They've got the star power, the depth, the coaching, and the chemistry to make some serious noise in the Eastern Conference. As the season progresses, many eyes will be on this team to see if they can maintain this level of impressive play. That's really all I have for this one. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.